Hey everybody, Mark here from 8 Minute Acts. Some of you are familiar with my long-running feud, I guess you could call it, with Don Henley. It all started way back when I was shooting my second video ever. I had just finished the intro to Hotel California when this happened. Oh, someone's at my door. All right, hold on for 1 second. I'll be right back and see who that is. Oh my God. That was Don Henley. Apparently he's got an algorithm where every time any Eagles song is played anywhere, he's alerted and he comes to collect his money. A few months later, I was going through a rough patch financially, and I decided that the best course of action was to sell my soul in order to get a better quality 12-string guitar. I went down to my local Crossroads, and this happened. So I went down to my local Crossroads and I waited for the devil. He finally came. Unfortunately, he was not interested in my soul. I was walking back and you wouldn't believe who drove by in a Winnebago. Don Henley. And he was more than willing to bargain with me for my soul. He actually wanted to originally give me one of Don Felder's old used 12 strings that he didn't even own. But eventually we came to an agreement and I found myself with a new 12 string and Don Henley has my soul. My next encounter with Don came when I was doing research for my Hidden Backwards Messages video. I actually received an anonymous tip and I uncovered a dirty little secret that Don had hidden in one of his songs. Well, it ends up that Don has a hidden message in his song Dirty Laundry. And for the first time ever, I'm gonna play it for you. If you play the beginning of the second chorus backwards, here's what you get.
I have more lawyers than you. I have more lawyers than you.
I have more lawyers than you. Now I hear that loud and clear, Don. Okay, obviously these bits were done in good fun. Don Henley is a brilliant songwriter and a savvy businessman. But it's hard not to single him out because he has become the most outspoken critic against YouTubers using copyrighted material under the fair use doctrine. I've got nothing against Don Henley. I grew up an Eagles fan, and as a matter of fact, Hotel California was my first favorite song when I was a kid. I want to like Don Henley, but he sure makes it hard to. In this video, I'm going to briefly outline what Don Henley is trying to do to eliminate YouTube as we know it, discuss some of his more outrageous claims, talk about what YouTuber Beato is doing to defend the rights of small YouTubers like myself, and give you 2 reasons why I think Don Henley has actually benefited from the current state of things. Before we get started, I do have a brand new Van Gogh guitar to give away this month. I'm actually going to have a trivia question hidden somewhere in this video. All you need to do is answer the trivia question correctly, email it to me at markabernally@gmail.com, and you'll be entered to win the brand new Van Gogh guitar. If you're new to the channel, please take a moment, subscribe, ring the bell to get notified when I upload new videos. For small YouTubers like myself, every single subscriber is really important, so if you could just take a moment and do that, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so let's continue. Last June, Don testified before the Senate Subcommittee on Intellectual Property and specifically about fair use. Don outrageously claims that 84% of the 6 billion videos that have been uploaded to YouTube contain copyrighted material. He actually asked the subcommittee to make the fair use laws more strict. You heard me right, more strict. Let me tell you how things currently work. Every time I upload a video to YouTube that contains a copyrighted song, I receive an email before the video even goes live, basically telling me that the record company is going to take 100% of any money garnered through ad revenue. I'm okay with that. I think the artist deserves to make money for the song they've written. But sometimes I'm told I can't upload the video. Essentially, all my work has gone down the drain, the video has been quote-unquote blocked, and I'm SOL. So how does YouTube flag these videos so quickly? Sure, they have complex algorithms that are able to identify songs, but it ends up, and this is directly from Don's testimony, that Don has 60 people working for him full-time whose sole job it is to sit in a room for 40 plus hours a week and troll YouTube to find videos with copyrighted material and shut them down. Small YouTubers like myself simply don't have a chance against these large record labels, and ultimately there's really no course of action I can take to do anything about it. If you're unfamiliar with fair use, it's essentially a doctrine in the United States copyright law that allows limited use of copyrighted material without requiring permission from the rights holders, such as for commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, teaching, and scholarship. I think it's important to note that the fair use laws were designed to foster creativity. A great example of this is hip-hop music. Think about how many great hip-hop songs use samples from previously copyrighted material. In August, YouTuber Rick Beato testified in front of the same Senate subcommittee. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Rick Beato, he has one of the largest music-oriented YouTube channels. Rick is also a former professor of music at Ithaca College, has produced several multi-platinum albums, has co-written a #1 country hit, has had multiple publishing deals with major labels, and is very well connected in the music industry. Rick is also an incredibly sharp guy, and I can't think of anyone better suited to fight the good fight for small YouTubers like myself. I found Rick's testimony to be very fair and reasonable. He actually has a surprisingly narrow view of what constitutes fair use, especially for a guy who has had about 25% of all the videos that he's put up claimed, meaning somebody else is getting the revenue for about 25% of the videos that he's produced. He is incredibly magnanimous when it comes to his hugely popular What Makes This Song Great series. He says he doesn't believe that the What Makes This Song Great videos are transformative enough to constitute fair use. He also offers a couple of solutions to the issue. One of Rick's ideas is for YouTubers to essentially pay an annual license fee that enables them to use copyrighted material. I love this idea. In a way, it's kind of similar to what Getty Images does. You pay a monthly fee and you have access to Getty's entire catalog of pictures. I would be more than willing to pay a reasonable fee if it meant that every week I didn't have to hold my breath wondering whether or not my week's work is going to be all for naught and the video is going to get blocked. Rick actually did an excellent video in which he summarizes his testimony. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Before I get into the 2 reasons why I think that Don Henley has actually benefited from the current state of the music industry, I want to tell you about an interesting conversation I had with a guy who thinks that no one should be allowed to profit from somebody else's material in any way, shape, or form. I think that's absurd. Let's take this view to the extreme. What if no one was allowed to perform a cover in a public setting? In the history of popular music, I can't think of a single artist who didn't play covers at one time or another. When Dylan came to New York, his set was filled with Woody Guthrie covers. Long before the Beatles took the world by storm, they were playing 6 nights a week, 10 to 12 hours a night in Hamburg, Germany. I believe at that point in time, John and Paul had written 3 songs between them. They played covers. Everyone plays covers. And unless it's an open mic somewhere, chances are that performer is getting paid for that performance. Isn't imitation the greatest form of flattery? For that matter, doesn't playing someone else's song expose that song's writer to a wider audience? Here's where I get into reason number 1 why I think Don has benefited from the current state of things. How many people do you think heard their very first Eagles song on YouTube? How many new fans have the Eagles gained over the past 10 years because of YouTube? Don't artists who allow their songs to be played on YouTube and other social media platforms actually benefit from the exposure? Last year, Nathan Apodaca, aka Dogface's car broke down. So he hopped on his skateboard, grabbed a bottle of cran raspberry juice, cranked up Fleetwood Mac's classic Dreams, and headed to work. His subsequent TikTok video went viral to the tune of 20 million views. The impact on the song Dreams was remarkable. The song was streamed over 1.5 million times on Spotify in the very first week alone, and Dreams re-entered the top 20, 43 years after its initial release. So how did Fleetwood Mac react? Did they try to shut it down? Hell no. Stevie Nicks, the song's writer, and band co-founder and drummer Mick Fleetwood both made videos of their own. They couldn't thank him enough. In my opinion, Don Henley got into the music business at the absolute perfect time. And as technology and trends have changed the face of the music industry, he has positioned himself well at every turn. Sadly, the early history of popular music is filled with artists who essentially got screwed. Up until the 1950s, most artists were signed to small independent labels, who in most cases took most, if not all, of the artist's royalties. The list of jazz greats who died penniless is shamefully long. Early rock and rollers were also subjected to the same unscrupulous managers, lawyers, and agents. John Fogerty of CCR not only lost the rights to all of his songs, but was actually sued in 1984 for plagiarizing one of his own compositions. Don Henley first gained notoriety when he, Glenn Frey, and Bernie Leadon were recruited to back up Linda Ronstadt. In 1971, they formed their own band and signed to Asylum, David Geffen's new record label. The short history is that Geffen signed the Eagles to a fair deal, and suffice it to say that after 5 #1 singles, 6 #1 albums, and over 200 million albums sold worldwide, Don Henley became a rich man. Don continued to rack up massive royalties after the Eagles broke up in 1980, both through his very successful solo career, as well as the fact that Eagles songs were in heavy rotation on thousands of terrestrial radio stations throughout the world. But times have changed. We now live in a world where over 90% of the music we listen to is done so through some kind of streaming device. The advent of P2P sites like Napster, LimeWire, and Kazaa, the invention of the MP3, the ability to put it on the newly invented iPod changed everything. Sure, all of these things make piracy easy and very hard to police. But did these technologies really screw Don Henley? I say no way. And here's reason number 2. As a direct result of the fact that artists could no longer rely on large royalty checks, they simply raised ticket prices. As a matter of fact, the Eagles were pioneers when it came to jacking up ticket prices. Even before the aforementioned technologies changed the way we listen to music way back in 1994, the Eagles were able to bury the hatchet, got back together, and did a reunion tour. And if you wanted to see them, you had to pay dearly. I'll throw a couple quick stats at you. The average concert ticket price in 1985 was $15. In 1995, it was $24. The average price for a ticket on the Hell Freezes Over tour was $121, 5 times the average ticket price at the time. Okay, so if you've made it this far, you're obviously either enjoying the video or you really want to win a 12-string guitar. So here's the trivia question. In 1964, during the height of Beatlemania, Ringo got sick. The Beatles used a replacement drummer for part of the tour. Email me the name of the drummer who replaced Ringo while he was sick. Tell me how many shows he played with the Beatles. Send it to markarenally@gmail.com, and you're entered to win the guitar. We were talking about the Eagles' Hell Freezes Over tour. The Eagles earned a whopping $5.5 million per show on that tour. To put that into perspective, it's almost exactly double what Pink Floyd and the Rolling Stones, by far the 2 biggest touring acts at the time, were getting per show. And the trend has only continued upward. In 2019, they were the top band on Forbes' highest paid celebrities list, and they only played 28 shows that year. When I was a kid, bands would tour to promote their albums. Technology has changed the paradigm. Now artists depend on touring as their primary means of earning. Don has earned far more touring over the past 25 years than he ever did in royalties. I do want to say that I believe that artists should have some protection for their songs. I've written hundreds of songs myself. I spent many years touring, doing all original music. I think it's important to find a workable solution to all of this, but I don't think the answer is to stifle YouTubers. YouTube has given thousands of musicians like myself the opportunity to reach a far wider audience than we ever could through self-promoting an album or touring locally. I think that Don needs to look at the big picture and realize that things are not going to go back to the way they were in the good old days. It's important to find a workable solution, but I'll tell you what, 60 people in a room whose sole job it is to find YouTubers who are using copyrighted material and to shut them down. We have to be able to do better than that, right? I know this topic is controversial, and I really do want to hear your opinions, whether you agree with me or not. Please leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Most importantly though, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.